Breaking news coming out of Memphis. They just hit up CMoney from Fast Cash Boys, man. They seen him hanging with Lil Migo and Big Boogie. So the ops was on him ASAP, man, because this whole thing relates back to a beef that's been going on in Memphis for like years right now. So they taped up the whole entire street that he got hit up on. Somebody lured him to that area. They told him to meet up for some reason, some way. Maybe there was something that they wanted or whatever it was. They knew who he was with and what kind of car he was in. So as soon as he pulled up in the street, that's when the first red flag was they seen this SUV pulling up and they cut the lights off. Whenever you see an all dark car, especially SUV, big truck, and they going down a dark street with all the lights off, especially in the hood, this all happened right there. Memphis, the whole entire Memphis is a hood now. And it's been like that. So once he seen Buddy and them turn them lights off, next thing you know, the guy hop out the back with a Pooh Shiesty mask, and that's when you see him up the whole stick. The Drake kept blowing and blowing and blowing. Dude tried to run. It was too late. The neighbors heard everything. They ducked as soon as they heard the ba, ba, ba. They hit the floor and ducked and everything. Once the feds pulled up, 12 took forever to pull up. The guys already dipped. So this is why they still looking for him. And they already know, they got the footage they saw from the Ring doorbell camera. Everything happened. This was at night. So it was nighttime and it was dark. So all you see from the doorbell camera footage, the Ring footage, TMZ bought it already. And they see the guy literally hopping out the back of the car, and the car already got his lights off, and he literally aiming and pointing right at CMoney. So it must have been somebody that he knew. Obviously, they all knew each other. It wasn't no random stranger like cutting them off on the road and they decided to hop out and blow at them. Nah, they already knew what was going down. They came suited up and everything. So it was a situation where they knew one of his homeboys, CMoney homeboys, they hit him up or something, talking about meet up with this, that for some cash or for whatever it was, whether it was studio time or maybe they was going to collab or do something, right? And basically it was all a setup. It was all a play because these dudes got beef, and it goes way back. It goes back to the Young Dolph and Yo Gotti, because the type of people that CMoney was hanging out, you could go look right now. That people want to know, oh snap, he was caught in the picture with Lil Migo. That's Black Youngsters artist. So people in Memphis definitely might have a problem with that if they are on Young Dolph's side. Then they see CMoney and the whole Fast Cash Money team taking the pictures with Big Boogie. They was right. They went and popped out with Big Boogie, Lil Migo, basically showing that they picking sides, that they tried to sign with CMG. Maybe they was trying to get the attention of Yo Gotti, but this is the big mistake. They still stayed in Memphis. They still lived in the hood. So they should have never showed their hand on what side they was on. Basically, they were asking to be put into some sort of beef. When you go, they should have known, when you in Memphis, everybody already knows that it's two sides. It's Young Dolph, Yo Gotti, CMG, PRE, and it's been a whole war zone for the last few years. So everybody knows to be smart, and when you get some money, you got to get up out of Memphis. You got to get out the hood. And so this is why, how is it that they stayed around Memphis long enough to get taken down by all the stuff that keep happening in Memphis? This isn't nothing new. They do drive-bys. They be pulling up and basically going back and forth at each other and everything all day, 24/7. And so they should have known that the longer they stick around, the more that they keep hanging around the wrong type of people, that they gonna end up in the mix of this whole thing and get caught in the crosshairs. And unfortunately, that's what happened to CMoney. And this is a sad situation. This should have been totally avoided, and it should have never went down, because we don't condone none of this, man. People are supposed to be coming together. But when is it that they gonna actually come together and bring Memphis together and actually try to like make it so it's not people getting hit up all the time, rappers never get to make it out, and all these things, people going to jail for life and this, that, and the third. So eventually, basically, the whole thing of them hanging out with the CMG artists, it caught up to them, because you got to understand, man, it was people out in Memphis that they're still trying to get like revenge for Young Dolph, or even their other family members that got sent up in the war that's been going on between all these like youngins and everything like that. The streets, the users, like they're not listening to old heads, they're not listening to OGs. They taking they handling things into their own hands. So when somebody got beef with them or whatever it is, they're not going to squash it. They're just waiting for somebody to get caught lacking or something like that. So eventually that's what ended up happening. And it's a sad thing, because the neighbors and everything, when they interviewed them, the news showed up, TMZ showed up and all that. So when the news showed up, the neighbors were like, they heard that since Friday night that the two groups have been actually like chasing each other around the city trying to get the other person. And this was just a result from that. Like the whole weekend they were trying to find each other's location and everything, because y'all got to remember, the new IG locations feature is causing a lot of people to see a lot of other people's location. And so this is how they ended up finding them. They opened up IG and the dude didn't turn off his location feature thing. And so this is how they found them in the first place. So once somebody that he follows or somebody that they with, one of the girls, they basically seen where they was at, or they seen where they was going to. They was popping up to some function. And you know what it is that they were going somewhere and somebody found out what was going on. Either the place that they was going to was already being set up for them to get ran up on. Sometimes people throw parties just to have that one person pull up so that they could pretty much set it up and get their revenge right then and there. And it happens at dice games, it happens at album release parties and everything like that. And sometimes if it's like if he was selling his chain, or if he was doing this or doing that, maybe he was selling a verse, or they were supposed to meet up at a studio, they'll make up a whole business plan, like you supposed to meet them for the cash, or they want this or that or something like that. They made a whole fake business meetup just to get the guy to show up at that location, because they knew they were going to have the guys jump out the back of the car to try to get him, man. And that's exactly what the footage showed. We looked at the footage and it clearly shows that the dude exited at the back driver's side of the car, and the guy, he was the closest one to CMoney's car. Once the dude started unloading the clip, they couldn't even get the keys in the car on and putting it in drive. They had to duck. And so they were all in the car and they became a city. Some people try to run. He tried to run, but he didn't make it. And they had pulled up quick. So this is how you know this whole thing is a setup. It was not just by accident that they ran into each other. Somebody ended up pretty much finessing them to show up over there, because they knew it was going to be dark at night in a street that has no street lights, in an area that's got no police station or nothing nearby. So they knew that as soon as it went down, that they had at least 5 to 10 minutes to get away before people start calling 911 and all this stuff. Man, the 12 MPD went around and collected the security cameras from every single house that was right there on that same street, and they putting all the footage together. They trying to collect the license plate number. They really caught the car and what it looked like. So they went to the camera in the next big intersection that they had to drive by, and that's how they caught the license plate. So they really just following the footage either in forward or reverse to see where they ended up going and where the suspects ended up like running out at and where they're hiding out at. And they also played the footage in reverse to figure out where did the getaway car come from what street, from what neighborhood. And eventually they'll keep an eye on that same car in all the different spots that it was picked up on camera until they find the face of the guy who was there, or when they find him buying something and they'll go and get the receipt and look at the camera from the actual checkout stand. And if they use the car, they'll be able to figure out who it was and everything. So the investigation is underway, and they're trying to get the justice for CMoney. A lot of people is affected right now, and the whole entire Memphis is shut down. They trying to put a curfew up at 8 p.m. to basically make it to where none of these groups are going to be outside late at night again trying to catch each other. If they do, they're patrolling, they're going to try to bust them and all this and that. So let me know what y'all think about the situation, man, and I'm going to catch y'all later. Peace.